Alrighty, so I got a couple of comments a day or two ago talking about, or asking if I could do a guide, I guess, on how to beat the Demon King from the story, and at the time I hadn't done the newest chapter yet, so I have now done it, and I understand why people are having trouble with it, but I guess as long as you have like halfway decently built up characters, it's not too bad. Honestly, even with him having the effects that he does, which are he's immune to debuffs for one, so that's kind of annoying, but decreases the hero's damage taken from demon allies, and he deals an additional 20% damage to demons, so you really don't want to use melee. But the fight after this, you're required to use melee, and even then, I used melee originally on this fight and still did a-okay. As long as he doesn't just target melee like a whole lot or anything on the first turn, you should be good. Honestly, Escanor pretty much carries the fight if you have, the one Escanor, which hopefully you do, because he's, he basically got given away for free during the 3-year JP anniversary, which was not too long ago. If not, I'm not really sure how you're this far in the game without him. Because this is really late. Another thing to note is that it's also, this is the newest chapter after they've introduced or well, I guess there would technically be one more chapter before this, but these are the newest chapters, after level 100 has been introduced to the game, so you probably want to have as high level characters as possible. So whatever your strongest stuff is, I would just recommend you try to use that if possible. He does have 280 KCC, which is very high for a story thing, so make sure that you have good gear on your characters, whatever it takes for you to beat over that, because you definitely want to go first. I definitely recommend, if possible, which this is actually a bad draw. Most of the draws that I get so far that I've played this have been Escanor draws, so if you can, try to get a decent draw there, merge it, so that way you can get closer to an ult as soon as possible, because you want to make sure that you're, I guess, using Escanor's ult to its maximum potential, I guess. If you only have a 1/6 Escanor, obviously that's going to hold you back a little bit, but I honestly think that it's not too bad. The one thing that is kind of annoying is if he uses the AoE, I think at level 2, it will attack seal, which can be very annoying. So if you want to try and bring in disables attack skills at level 2, try to bring in a character that can cleanse. If you have Margaret, she would be perfect for this. I even did a run where it was Escanor, blue regular king, like the one that you get from the story at the very beginning of the game, and Merlin for ult rush, and then obviously you have to have a Bond on your team, so I put him in the back so he's not doing anything. King and Merlin both did die, but I was able to get off an ult, and I think in that run specifically, Bond ended up doing pretty good. So the biggest thing that you have to worry about is his ult, because his ult does a lot of damage, plus it puts on debuffs, which is very annoying as well. But as long as you can survive the ult, more than likely you should be good. But then again, it might be a little bit biased, because I do have really good gear on Escanor and all of these characters. Most of them are level 90, if not maxed out, so I also have that going for me. Even with a 6/6 ult, it doesn't kill unless I do like a big crit or something like that. So I can see where this is a problem. It definitely could be an issue. He's very hard. Like, he's compared to the rest of the fights that we've been getting for most of these chapters and stuff like that, he's pretty difficult. So I definitely recommend you try some different things out. Like I said, you can definitely just throw Escanor or Bond in the back, try to make a different team. Trader Melee does work really well. Honestly, if you have Trader Melee, he's probably the better option here, so I would definitely recommend you run him. Where is he? Hello, there he is. So we've done a run without him, we'll do a run with him just because, I guess. Not really sure who else would be the best for this, because I've ran it with like Gother and stuff like that. We'll try Margaret just for maximum efficiency maybe, but the biggest problems I've found is the attack seal's really annoying, so if you can have a cleanser, that would be great. And then if you have you can't reduce his ultimate move gauge at all. He just he literally doesn't let you. It's one of his passives where he can't have ultimate move gauge remove, so that's kind of annoying as well. So I don't know. It might take a couple of runs. It could take, just several runs of you trying to get better RNG with, getting an extra card for Escanor at the beginning, so that way you can rush an ult or whatever the case may be. It can definitely be an issue, but I get it. I see he's using a. I think he's using a disable, which it could be this skill as well because both of them are debuffs. Originally, my plan was to use Red Slater to stop him from disabling me and everything, or just stopping him from being able to attack, but unfortunately he's literally immune to every single debuff in the game, so that is also bad. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you're bringing in the most damage that you have, and obviously even if you don't think that melee's going to help too much, his passive is going to help you reduce damage taken, which is also really good. Margaret will also help with that as well, if you put on her buff. I think he has I can't remember, maybe he does. Yeah, he does a lot of damage to debuffed enemies and stuff like that as well. Increases basic stats by 10% for each debuff on the enemy, so if you can get rid of debuffs, that is definitely priority number one. But yeah, just it's a tough fight. I get it, I really do. Sometimes just out of nowhere the story will just absolutely ramp up to a point to where it's really hard for no reason all of a sudden. I almost feel like it's just like a gap where it's like, hey, like you probably need to work on your characters to either limit break them higher or make sure that their gear is good. I think Margaret's gonna die this turn, but I don't know, it's just something weird that they always end up doing, which is kind of annoying in certain aspects. Nice, she didn't die. But either way, honestly, Escanor's the savior here. He does very well in most things in the game, honestly. So if you have him, you have decent ult level on him, this should be a piece of cake. If not, just try to find a decent damage dealer that does okay. Like honestly, Bond doesn't do bad, and if you run like the full-on Bond team with like maximum HP and stuff like that, he's not going to do as much damage to you as you're thinking he will. So he could be pretty good as well. His obviously, waiting for him to get decent, ultimate move gauge, so that way your detonate cards do more, and it probably will take a bit longer to fight him because you're not going to be doing as much damage each turn, and he doesn't put buffs on, so you're not going to get the rupture or anything. That could end up being an issue, but I don't know. If you have already beat this and you have any, specific recommendations for characters that, might help somebody else out, or, if they don't have Escanor or whatever the case may be, feel free to leave a comment down below. It would be much appreciated. I'm sure people who have trouble with this stage in general would appreciate it as well. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful. I know that it was kind of just like use Escanor, but I mean really and realistically, like you just want to use a big damage dealer, and Escanor fits the role. Melee fits the role, even though he gets reduced damage and takes less damage or whatever, or takes more damage. But I don't know, it's kind of just gotten to a point where the power creep is crazy in this game and you just want to use big damage. So that's it.